This week we will learn about basic engineering principles and the physical properties of matter, using popsicle sticks as our base. The first activity is going to be a catapult. In this activity, children will design and create a catapult to explore the concept of elasticity, tension, and potential and kinetic energy. The steps are simple. Explain to the students how catapults were used in the past and how they work. Have students draft their designs on paper and then distribute the supplies and allow for the children to create the catapult. Upon completion, allow for the students to test their work to see who can shoot the highest, the farthest, and even challenge them to knock down a tower. Please ensure maximum safety by making sure that all children are not pointing the catapult at each other. The sticks on the catapult are reusable and will be used for the next activity. The next activity is going to be a car launcher. Here the students will learn how tension in the rubber band creates built up energy, which is potential energy, and when that's released as kinetic energy, how it pushes and propels a car forward at different speeds depending on the size of the rubber band and the tension. Allow for students to design their launcher on paper first. A sample is provided for the children to see as a photo, as you can see. However, students can modify and create their own. Once students complete the project, host car races in a long and open space to see which car can go farthest and which one can go fastest. Also, there will be some stunts to get the airborne. This is also a reusable activity to ensure that it is not glued. Only tape and rubber bands, please. You will have to disassemble it before the next activity. The next activity is going to be the ballista challenge, taking it back to the medieval theme that we had for the catapult. The ballista is another contraption created in the past that uses tension and kinetic energy to act as a giant bow and arrow. To start, explain what a ballista is and what it is used for. Tell the children to compare it to a bow and arrow. What are the forces that act on the bow to make it shoot the arrow? In the same way, people long ago found a way to create the same tension in a larger scale, which is the ballista. In the activity, have students design their ballista on paper and then distribute the supplies and let the students create it. For maximum safety, continually monitor students and don't provide the cotton swabs until the testing phase to ensure that nobody gets shot in the eye or any other area. When testing, ensure that students are shooting towards an open area and that no other children are in front of their trajectory. And there, they will also be able to knock down that tower. The next activity is going to be a raft. For the raft, students will learn about buoyancy, wind force, and also balance by creating a raft for a little figure or minifigure. The goal is to make balance and float and test how the position and weight of the minifigure can affect its ability to displace water and float. Please allow the children to design their raft and build it. Their sails will be unique and they will have a chance to blow at it to see which works better once the activity is complete. Save the raft to be carefully disassembled later for the next activity. The final activity challenge is going to be to build a Ferris wheel, or also known as a water wheel. This will be the largest and most difficult build since it requires all of the sticks. If possible, have this be done in pairs to conserve the number of sticks and to help in the complexity of the activity. Explain the purpose of a Ferris wheel and how it was initially designed as a water wheel and placed by running water to turn a pole that would then turn a gear to operate a mill to crush wheat, grain, and barley to make flour. Have them think of other things that were reconditioned for entertainment purposes, like roller coasters, modeled after trains that used to transport goods from one place to another. To begin this activity, pair up students and allow them to create a design on paper. There's a sample and instructions available, but allow for students to modify and test the design as needed. At the conclusion of the build, have each group test it in front of their peers. Make notes on which was the stablest, which spin the longest, and which was the most creative. And please don't forget to take photos of all these activities and send them to us. And as always, have fun and keep the learning going. For the elementary school activities, we're going to learn about creatures, their natural adaptations, physical properties, and life cycles. The first activity will be the metamorphic cycle of a butterfly. Students will create a caterpillar and then a butterfly to demonstrate metamorphosis. These crafts are fun for children, but they're a great activity with great learning potential. So please take time to explain what is happening as a caterpillar grows in and becomes an adult. Compared to humans, do we change as we age? But do we also have metamorphic qualities? And that would be a no, right? So we do grow, our bodies do change, but we don't change actual shape or form. Focus on asking guiding questions and the development of fine motor skills as children cut, glue, and color. The next activity is simple. It's called Dino Strength Shapes. So did you know that the strongest shape is a triangle? And the reason why it's the strongest shape is because all of the angles are, they're made just right so that if you push on the top, it pushes equally on the other sides. It's just a really strong shape as compared to other shapes. And we're comparing that kind of like Venn diagram to the dinosaurs and how dinosaurs were really strong. They weren't triangles, but they were really strong, but triangles are also strong. So there's some connections there. And the main point of this activity is to allow for the children to create their dinosaurs. It's more like a craft activity, but they're also learning about the life cycle of dinosaurs and, of course, extinction. Most importantly, it's the natural adaptations. For example, you know that the Stegosaurus naturally adapted and had these plates on its back and on its tail as a defense mechanism for predators. The difference between the herbivores and the carnivores. Carnivores had the sharp teeth. Their eyes were more in the front of their head instead of it being on the side and things like that. And it's just a really cool activity. The next one is a grasshopper invasion. This one's fun just because grasshoppers are very unique creatures. So we'll learn all about grasshoppers, research some fun facts, and see if the kids could jump. You could even incorporate some kinesthetic activities, allowing the children to hop from one side of the room to another, things like that. The beauty of this is that grasshoppers are very important, and you're differentiating between what an insect is and what an arachnid is. So insects have 6 legs, and that's what a grasshopper is, whereas arachnids have 8 legs, so forward. Really focus on the natural adaptation of their back legs bending backwards as compared to humans, which allows for them to jump really long distances. And then, of course, grasshoppers do fly, which is amazing, and they fly the equivalent of a football field. It would be like us jumping from one football field to the other. That's what they're able to do. Of course, the most important thing is sharing things out. And here's a few pictures. Allow for the children to get creative if they want to just do a pipe cleaner type version or regular one. Just remember that there's not going to be only green pipe cleaners or chenille stamps, which you call them. Have them do whatever color they want. As a matter of fact, we want them to be creative, and there are different types of colored grasshoppers. Okay. The next activity is going to be an alligator or crocodile, so that's a comparison, again, Venn diagram type. What are the differences between both? And the main difference is that some are saltwater and the other are freshwater, and in that you have different type of carnivores. So right off the bat, crocodiles are going to be a lot stronger because they're saltwater versus alligators, which are freshwater. Okay, but the way we're going to simulate that is they are going to create, their alligator and crocodile, but you're going to add a rubber band, you're going to tie it in so that it simulates additional tension, which once you open the paper clip, it'll transfer into more pressure being applied to the bite, right? Symbolizing more muscles in the crocodile's jaw and things like that. So this is what it could look like. They're all going to be different. The teeth are also really important. Here you have a really neat, I guess the differences between them. The crocodiles have teeth visible in both because they have a receding type of gum line, whereas alligators don't. Crocodiles are way longer, things like that. So you'll be able to see that that's from the Ailey Echo. And you can see how you're going to create the difference in your alligator and crocodile by extending it and adding, extra things like teeth and all that. All right, and then the last activity is going to be The Slytherin snakes, which is just a fun activity. The students are going to learn about snakes and what makes them so flexible, what makes them move the way that they do. And then, of course, as natural predators, how they have these huge mouths that are able to engulf and swallow, um, you know, small mammals and bugs and all that kind of stuff. And of course, different colors is really important because we want them to know that some snakes are venomous, some is not. So there's a little bit of awareness there. And what the difference is between vipers and other snakes, right? The heads are totally different. So if we take it down to the picture, this is actually modeled after a dragon that we've used, but this is going to be a snake for these purposes. So they make a snake head, they put popsicle sticks, and in the middle they're going to put some streamer and make it a little longer so that the students could kind of like wiggle it around so they can see the Slytherin factor, talk about how their spines are able to do that. And here's the difference between the viper and any other snake. So the students get to decide what type of snake they're going to make. As you can tell, this one is going to be a viper because of the shape of its head and then the eyes. Perfect. And that's it for now. You guys have a great week. I'll also be sending the rest of the activities for the enrichment activities separately. You guys have a great day. Bye.